and say hello to everyone.
I'll do the same.
Okay.
And we are recording.
And we are recording. So hi, everyone. We've got a small group right now. A few more may jump in. Hi, Diane. Hey, Andy. Hey, Mandy. It looks like we've got a few more coming tonight. So, and that's okay. We know that not all counties are actually going to be able to participate in this anyway, but we'll start small and move out, just like we always do. So we're going to cover today storytelling, and we're going to go over a template that Stephanie is going to go over, a little template that we have for you to how to build your story, one that you can share. And then we'll kind of talk about the different implications and how to share that story. But most importantly, we want to always tie this back. And the reason we're doing all of this is because of this new legislative proposal that's that we're pushing out. And so we need to be able to talk to our legislators and all on the same page. So we're going to cover that after Stephanie goes through the storytelling templates. I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie. I'm going to take my camera off and I'm going to let Stephanie kind of walk through how to use this template that we are going to provide to all of you guys.
Okay, so you are the lucky few to experience this first. So I've been through it a few times, and so bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and turn my video off because I was having an unstable connection. I'm going to just kind of walk you through very basic, the template that we have, and then the just kind of how to get to it and how to maneuver it. So the template that we are using is through Canva. So it's an online, it's free, and I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and share real quick so that way I can talk as I go through it. Just give me a minute. Okay, so you should see, hopefully you see.
It looks good.
Google
We can
Chrome.
see it.
Okay, good. So then, so what we're going to do is we're going to provide you with a link to a template that was made through Canva, which is just, so what I like about Canva, so I just popped that link right in there, is that it's free. I mean, of course, it's like everything, right? So you can, there's a free portion, and then if you want to do more cool stuff, then you got to pay for it. But you can do a lot of cool stuff just for the free thing, for the free subscription. And so what I like best about this, because I have worked mostly in nonprofits, everybody, you kind of have to, but with nonprofits and volunteer groups, everybody has to be kind of like a jack of all trades. And so you have to know how to, create a flyer, and you have to also know how to get the word out. And then you have to, you have to do lots of different things as a nonprofit. And so this just makes it really easy for those that aren't trained in graphic design like myself to be able to come up with a pretty easy post for Facebook with graphics, post for Instagram, any social media stuff, or a flyer that you want to print out, lots of different things, brochures, banners, all kinds of things. So they have templates within Canva. And when I say Canva, it's Canva. They have templates that you can use, which I've done that sometimes, or you can just kind of start from scratch. And so we thought, well, why don't we create a template that our SISMAs can use to help to tell their story? And so that's where we are right now. And I think we're going to come up with a few templates. And the reason we picked Canva was because it really is easy to kind of plug and play. So you can just take things out and put things in. And so it's a template, but you can also manipulate it in any way you want to. And then personally, I'll just say with Canva, somebody told me, oh, you work for a nonprofit and you need a Facebook graphic, just try Canva, really try it. And I didn't take any tutorials, which they do have tutorials. I didn't know anything. I can fiddle around with a website. I can fiddle around with a lot of things, but like I said, I don't have a graphic design degree. And I went into it and I just started playing around. So I'm definitely not an expert, and there are a lot of things you can do. And that's where those tutorials come in handy, because when we were trying to come up with a template that we could easily share with everyone and they could also easily manipulate, it was hard to try to figure out what to do. And then Amber, so you see this, hopefully you see that it says a template created by Amber Slaughterbeck.
Yes.
So that she created that, and then she was able to make that a template and then share it with everybody just by a link. And then you can design it however you like. Okay, so when you click on that link that will provide you, this is what you'll see. And so I'm going to click on the bottom here, use template. Now, the one thing is you have to have an account, which just means login and password. That's it. I use it with my email. You can use it with your Google account, with Facebook, well, all of you, but I just usually do it with my email. And so I'll log in here. And then I'll see the template right here. So like I said, you can do, and I guess just let me know if at any point you can't see this. You can plug anything in you want. So it's got templates over here. So I wanted to talk about a few things. So I see this template here. So one thing you can do, this is pretty small, page 1, page 2. So ideally it's an 8.5 by 11 document. You can, to work with it, you can go down here on the bottom right and make it bigger or smaller. So like when I'm trying to look at it for the whole thing, I have it smaller, but then when I want to work on these words down here, I can make it bigger. And that's just like Excel or Word or anything like that. They've all got this zoom down there. The other thing I wanted to show you was here on the left side, the tools that you have. I'm not going to go through all these things. You get to play with Canva, and that's the most fun part for whatever it is you want to do. The only thing we're going to worry about today are the uploads, because that's where we're going to get our pictures to plug in to this template. So like I said, there are templates, so I'll just click on there. You can do all kinds of fun templates. Usually the ones that are seasonal will pop up first. We're not going to worry about that because we already have our template. Elements, you can have all kinds of, designs and different things that you can add to it. We're not going to do that. You can also add text, different styles. So if you, have problems putting colors together like I do, they do it for you. You can click a background, put in logos, and there's lots more. So we're going to not worry about those. We have our template. So I just went to uploads here, and you can see here that I've already uploaded some pictures. So anything you upload will end up here. You can upload images, videos, or audio. So like if you want to get really fancy with social media and have, graphics that move, you can do that. But for this template, for this flyer, we don't need that. So I'm going to go over here, okay, well, so we've made some suggestions. So your logo can go here, maybe an image of local habitat inserted over here. So when you can see, when I click on these, it highlights all these boxes. So I want a pretty picture. I think Amber took this one maybe. Oh, sorry, got it. Page is locked. So you want to go right up here where it says page 1 front page. I hope you can see my little cursor there, and just click on that, and that will unlock it. And the only reason it's locked is because that's the way we were able to share it. So you just unlock it. When you see that little unlock, then you're good. Okay, so I want that picture. So I just clicked right on that picture, and I want it to go here. I'm going to delete that because I don't need that anymore. And I'm just going to click and drag. And what I like about Canva is that you can make the picture smaller, like this whole picture, or you can easily crop it. So I don't want all that business over there. I just want this, or maybe I want all of it. Kind of depends. And you can move it around where you want. I want this pretty sunlight there, so I'm just gonna maneuver it there. And so there it is. My logo. So I want I think I want two things. I want my Sikkim logo, so I click on that, and there it is. So I'm going to move it up here. I'm going to get rid of this one just by clicking delete. Oops. And I'm going to get rid of that one too. And there it is. And then I can just make it into as big or as little as I wanted. Make it fit. And I think since I'm doing one for Sikkim, I want the Indiana Invasives Initiative logo on there too. I'm going to click on that and move that up here and make it the right size. So I don't expect you to like remember all these things, especially if you've never done anything like this before. I suggest just going in and playing around with it. And then you kind of learn how to do things with it. So you can change any of the text you want. So I'm just going to click on this. And I mean, so this one, local effort, statewide impact, you could keep those words, or you could put the name of your SISMA here as well. There we go. You can put whatever you want to in there. You can also change the font up here at the top. You can change the color of the text. So if I want it to be that green, all this pops up here on the side. And again, they'll show you. And what's really cool is they see the pictures that you've added in, like my logos here, and they add it over here to the photo colors. So then again, like if you're challenged for, like I am, on trying to pair colors up, it does it for you, which is great. Or you can just go rogue and do hot pink if you want. So, so you can change any of the words here. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more so I can see this a little better. So these are, again, suggested. So your mission statement, you can also copy and paste. So I'm going to copy and paste Sikkim's mission.
Do you mind if I ask questions as we go?
Go for it.
Do you have another document open right now that you're copying and pasting
Yes.
from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I did just for today, and actually what I do other times, I have a Word document. So sometimes, like if I'm taking things from the web, like the Sikkim website, then I'll just have that open. I've got two screens. So I've got my little laptop, and then I've got like a big screen that I can play with. And so usually I'll use this on the big screens because I can see it better. My eyeballs appreciate that. But then a lot of times, like I have text that I really want to put in there, I'll just throw that into a Word document real quick. So that way I don't have to go looking for it. And so I knew today, I was like, well, I want to show copying and pasting. And it doesn't matter, like sometimes when you're messing with websites and things, sorry, not messing, when you're altering websites and things like that, the font when you're copying and pasting can get wonky, but I have not found that with Canva. So the font is not the same in the Word document as it is in Canva, but it just automatically puts it right into the font that is in Canva already.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. So, and I also, like before this, I went ahead and put the link of the template on that Word document too, so that way I had everything there, so I needed it. When I'm organized, I do that. I tried to be a little more organized for you guys today. So you'll see here that my mission statement's too big for the space that I have allowed. So I could do a couple of things, and you want to make sure when you're doing it that you're clicked on that box. So over here, and you can see when you're clicked on that box because it's got that purple lining around it, and then it's also got these little circles on the corners that help you with, you can use that to adjust things. So I could use this to adjust it and make it smaller if I wanted to, which this is an 8x, or this is a full-size page. So you could have, and that's the other thing too, is I find that sometimes I have a hard time with how big or how small the font should be. And so when you're done with this, then you're going to download a copy of it, and you really want to look at that and see what it looks like. Sometimes I think it looks like something here, and then I download a copy of a PDF, and I'm like, that's not really what I want. And then I go back and I fix it. So So you could do that, or I don't like that. So I'm going to go up here to the left and I'm going to do undo, which I think most things that we use nowadays have an undo. And I'm just going to move this up a little bit, and then I'm going to click this guy and move him somewhere else. So you can move any of the words around. We've also got these little fancy design, that's where I'm trying to come up with, separate the words. Those can be moved too. And actually, you can make it bigger, smaller. You can make it go diagonal, anything you want. So I didn't plan on by the end of this having a perfect document, but what I wanted to do is show you all the different things that you can do with it. Again, you can change any of the colors of the fonts if you want. So you just go up here to that A or and if you hover over any of these, it'll tell you what it is. Maybe not effects, but so hover over that A, that's my text color. If I wanted blue, it could be blue. Okay, so let me see. So that's the first page. And this first page, for me at least, I feel like, boy, that's ugly, isn't it? So this first page, yours will be much more pretty, is really, I think it can be, in general. So it's about your SYSMA, it's about you, it's got your mission statement, it's got your goals, what you do, and maybe your local efforts, or you could also list your partners here. So some big projects that you're doing, you can list your partners. And then the second page can be changed based off of who you're talking to or what point you're trying to get across. So like if your SYSMA has done a great job with tree swaps. So somebody has to dig out an invasive tree to get a native tree. Then, you can highlight that here. I can click on this and go, let's see, native tree swap success. I don't want that, so I'll just erase it. And then, or maybe it's, you've done 5 weed wrangles on this one park property, and you could have a before picture here on the left and an after picture on the right. So it kind of depends on what you want to highlight here. And it could be more general too. It doesn't have to be a specific project. So this is your general page about us. This is what we do. This is why it's important. And then this back page could be projects, and then you could list different projects here in your project overview. We do native tree swaps and weed wrangles and native plant sales and things like that. So you'll really want to, but like with any publication, you want to make sure that you get your point across with the least amount of words as possible, and the most impactful words. And that's really when we're talking about storytelling. I could talk all day long about what we do at SICM, but people aren't going to listen for that long. So when you're talking with your representatives, you're talking with your legislators, you want to be to the point, but make it impactful. And then depending on who you're giving this to, so, you'll be using this to build the awareness. So you can, show people how they can help. And then your contact information is always important. And that might change too, because some of you might not have a phone number or a website. You might just have a Facebook page. You might have all 3. So you can change that as well. And like with these things, so that's where maybe you could go, all right, well, I want to put Instagram on here. Then you can go over to elements and you can actually, let's try Instagram icon. There we go. So we have an Instagram icon. I like that one. So I'm gonna maybe add it. So anyway, there's lots of different ways you can use these things.
Hey, I've got another question.
Mm-hmm.
When you add that icon, is that a double click or a drag?
Just at one click.
One click.
So yeah, so like for my pictures here, so this will be easy to see. When I add, whoops. page is locked. So you have to unlock each page. There we go.
Okay.
There. And that's one of those things where I didn't know that until I got in here and started playing around with it. And I was like, oh, it's locked. Well, how do I unlock it? Well, there's a little lock. Let me see if I click on that, it works. And it did. So like I mentioned, there are tutorials. So you can totally go through all of those. And I know that Amber, who designed this, she's done a lot of the tutorials. I just Google stuff. So if I'm like, how do you whatever ... in Canva, and somebody will tell you on Google. But yeah, it's a one click and it goes right in there. Or if you don't like it, then whoops, I don't like it. And you just hit delete and it goes away.
Excellent. Easy.
It really is. I mean, once you play around with it a little bit, and I say easy, and I have used some of these things, like I said, playing on websites and updating things, but I'm not a graphic designer. So it's been largely, me learning on my own because I wanted to get a publication out, or I wanted to do a Facebook post or something like that. So sometimes it can be really frustrating because you can't figure it out, but that's where Google comes in handy, or the tutorials as well. Other questions?
Yes, I'm not the Facebook administrator for Vanderburgh County, but we have a new member, Kelly, and she's wonderful. And in fact, I think she used Canva to make the last 2 flyers that we had. But this is wonderful for me to learn how to use it.
Good. Well, and you can share it too. So like with what we do, I can share a template, or so if I want to share, I just click up here and go, I can have a link that I copy that somebody can see. You can then download a PDF or a PNG or a JPEG, all of these options. And like I said, I suggest doing that and then looking at it before you send it on.
Okay, did I see you could put that on Facebook straight from here too?
Oh boy, so you can. Now, I don't do that, but I know that you can. And I think that's one, like if you really want to do those sorts of things, you can just log in with your Facebook account and then you work on it, and then you can just post it straight to Facebook. I think that's one of the benefits for logging in with Facebook. I just don't do it because, well, I have lots of different Facebook accounts that I'm on. So it would be confusing for me, I think. A little out of my wheelhouse, but you can definitely do that. Yep.
So if I'm not working through, I'm not sending this directly to Facebook, could I upload it onto Facebook using a PDF?
So I think with Facebook, they prefer JPEGs. So usually what I do, so like with this, let's say I'm done. Well, we want to name it too. I didn't mention that here. So up here at the top, it says copy of local efforts, statewide impact flyer. So I'm going to change that to my SYSMA flyer. And so now it's there. And then just as an FYI, if you want to see, like, so then it puts it, and it saves things as you go. So like I haven't saved anything this whole time because it saves it as you go. So if you go up here to the left, on the top left corner, it says home. I click on home and I just go down a little bit, recent designs. And so you can see my recent designs. I was testing it out here. And so those are the recent designs. And this is probably, yeah, my SYSMA flyer. So you've got it there and it stays there until you delete it, and then you can change it around. And then, so when I'm ready to share it, or probably look at it first and make sure that's what I want it to look like, then you can also print through Canva. I've never done that before, but it's an option. And so I want to share my design. So, and really that just means now I'm going to download it. But it gives you all these options to share. Like I said, you can just share a link, or you can download a copy of it and then email that to someone, or put that on Facebook. So I usually do both. So I'll download as a JPEG or a PNG, which is, they're both an image file, or and as a PDF. So that way I have both. So if I want to post on Facebook, I think you usually have to have an image file, a JPEG or a PNG. That seems to work best. But if I want to print, if I want to make prints of this and take it to my library or my legislator, then I'll do a PDF print. It gives you options. I always pick PDF print best for printing. And you can, if you want to get fancy about it too, and like if you want to make sure, you can do the crop marks and bleed, and that just makes sure that your edges don't get cut off when you are printing them. You want to, you can select the pages. So if you only want the first page, you can just do the first page. If you want both pages, and you can do both pages. And then color profile RGB is usually what you want to do, especially if you're doing Facebook and social media. Professional printing, if you want to do the CMYK, you can do that too, but don't worry too much about that stuff. And then I download it, and it takes a couple of seconds. And then I've got it down here. Now I might have to share, but basically, and I don't know if I need to show you, as it looks like a PDF like this, but so yeah, so I'd say both, because then you can use it as, you can print it as a PDF, you can share it as a PDF, you can also share it as a JPEG or a PNG, whether that's on Facebook or in an email. Other questions? Well, I hope this was helpful. Like I said, this is just very basics. You can really go into the weeds with all the things that you can do with Canva, but it doesn't have to be difficult. It can be super simple. And that's why we kind of picked this, was to give you something that hopefully would be fairly simple for you to plug and chug, really. So put a picture in, put your logo in, put some words in. This is you don't have to come up with a template or a design. It's right here, but you can also alter it as you need to, based off of what you want to put in there and what you want to share.
If we use this link, will all of our designs be available to everyone in the state?
No. So the template, when you click on that link, it gives you access to that template, but then it creates a whole new document. So it is yours and yours alone, and it won't change the template. It'll just change that document for you. But what I will say though is, so Canva does have teams. So I'll click up here, SS, that's my account. So this is my just like personal account through my Yahoo email. But let's see if I can, oh, I think I have to go back to home to do that. Yeah, so I click on this SS right here. So then it shows my team. So then you can have a team of people. So like maybe your SISMA, you might have a couple of people on your communications committee, and they might want to have access to that. So then I can click on SICM team, and then I see, oh, I guess I am on SICM team. So but I don't want to do SICM. I want to do something else with one of the other groups that I'm affiliated with, and I can go to that. And so this is my personal one. And so you can toggle back and forth, and you can share with anybody you want. You can have anybody on your team. You can invite them.
Is that just through a personal email address, Stephanie?
Yeah. Yeah, I use my Yahoo account. And then for the SICM team, I use my SICM email. And I will say too, so if you are a nonprofit, you can get the fancy paid version of Canva for free. So you have to apply to do it, but you can do that. And so we did that, and it just gives you more ability to do things. So one of the things that I've found that was beneficial for that was I could take that PDF that we have and I could resize it to a Facebook size post. You can't do that with the free account, but you can do that with the paid account. Now, again, you can do so much with the free account that it really doesn't matter, unless you want to start getting too technical. But if you are a nonprofit, then you can apply to have a business account, paid business account through Canva, which just gives you a little more capability of doing things.
I'm wondering if that nonprofit status is an actual, you have to prove that you're a 501c3.
You do. Yeah, you do. they're not super picky about it, but we did have to provide that.
I think I heard two statements, and if you could help me hear better. At first, I thought I heard you say a nonprofit could use the business mode for free. Then I thought I heard the nonprofits could do business, proving you're a 501c3, and that's a paid account.
Well, so yeah, so you heard right, but let me clarify. So there's the free version of Canva, which is what I use mostly until I learned. And then there's, of course, the paid. Like with most things, you have the free account that you can use, but there's limits to what you can do on that free account. And then they have the just like Zoom has it, everybody has it, and then they have but if you want to do this and all of these things, you can pay us $10 a month, and then you can do all those things. And so, which, I'm not going to do that. But what we learned was that as a nonprofit, they have a program where if you just apply as a nonprofit to have that paid account, they will waive the fee for you.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it.
I'll stop sharing. I can start sharing again if I need to.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, very much for that. I'll come back on video myself. And if you guys want to join us on video, that would be lovely. You don't have to. We've got just a few more minutes. We won't keep you past 12:15. We both have other appointments and meetings to jump into. One of the things that we wanted to do today is to make sure that we all understand we want as many SYSMAs as will participate in this storytelling, I'll just call it program for lack of a better word, so that we can all get the message to our legislators how important it is to fund invasive species work in Indiana, because they are not doing that right now in Indiana. So with this storytelling project, we're kind of aligning all of us together, and we're giving you some tools. That's the 3x5 card that we emailed. That's this, if you're an SWCD supervisor, what you should know. So that's the impact of invasive species. We gave you that one as well. We're going to provide the story template to you. Make it your own, but at the same time, we really need you to do 5 things every single time you tell a story. Every single time. And I'm going to go over those 5 things, and then we'll give you some ideas of where you can share your story and how you can use it. And I'll let Stephanie, if you have a minute, Stephanie, to turn on your whiteboard. So 5 things we need you to do every time you tell a story. And that's number 1, we want you to talk about your partners. We are not acting alone, and we need our legislators to know that we don't work in a box. We partner to solve this problem, and we partner local for the bigger picture. So list your partners. That's important. Please let them know whenever you're telling your story that you're using local resources and taking local responsibility, but you're part of the bigger problem. And that means you're part of a bigger solution. So grassroots and local responsibility with local resources is very important, because it ties into that we're part of a bigger organization. And we have to have everybody talking that you're part of the III, the Indiana Invasives Initiative. If we don't sell the statewide program, we will not get the funding that we need. So we need to say we're local, but we're part of the III, and we need to fund the III to keep us all knitted together. And then 4, awareness, awareness, awareness. That is the number 1 thing that all of us are tasked to do. We are going to tell everybody in our county how important it is to manage invasive species. Because if they don't know there's a problem, They don't know they need to help solve the problem. That's our number one task. So we are always letting our legislators know. We are talking about telling everyone about this problem so we can all find solutions. And then lastly, we want it to be as pictorial as we can. So have before and after pictures. Tell your story with some pictures. And then as you show pictures, we want you to quantify the problem and the solution. I'm going to give you an example. One of the counties was addressing erosion control, and erosion is tied to invasive species. It's not often not as direct, but I'm going to use this as a story. So there was a rain event. The farmer went out. He noticed his neighbor had an erosion problem because his neighbor failed to use cover crops. All right. Therefore, there was an erosion problem in one field. It was 5 feet deep. It stretched X number of feet. All that soil that washed out of there and created that gully would fit in this farmer's pond. And that, if you equated that and multiplied that to another farmer and another farmer and across the county, you begin to see how big of a picture, how big of a problem it is when we don't use erosion, when we don't use cover crops to solve erosion issues. We're going to do the same thing with invasive species. We're going to show whenever our weed wrangles get out there and they start working on an area with X number of people in an hour, this is what they can accomplish. Multiply that across the state, and we have a very good solution to habitat problems. Or show that when we do a prairie planting and we don't address all of the calorie pair that are in our neighborhoods, those calorie pairs feed our prairie planting and we lose all the dollars that we spent to do that prairie. So those 5, or did I say 5 or 6 things we need to put in our stories? Okay, so be pictorial, quantify it, and we can help you do this. Talk about awareness. It's the number one thing. Be local and have local responsibility, but always tie it to the bigger picture. If you don't, we will lose all of this. And then lastly, number 6 is partner, partner, partner. Let them show that you are a team player. And then the numbers, the last thing that you have to put in all of this is that we need financial support. So when you're talking to your partner, when you're talking to your media group, when you're talking to your legislator, let them know, hey, we need money because it takes a little money. We're working as local as we can, but we need the financial support. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay.
And I can see how this formula will help us with our local commissioners. So talk with our commissioners, talk with our state reps. I can see us going national on this since NRCS is one of our partners too.
Yes. And we are already, so NRCS, we just had another meeting with them yesterday. They're already asking us to do an RCPP. It's a big one. They want us to do multi-million dollars.
Could you remind us what RCPP stands for?
Oh gosh. Yes, I can. It is, I gotta find my notes. It's a resource conservation plan, partnership plan.
Okay.
And it can only be done through the NRCS federal farm dollar program or federal dollars. So we're working with them and we're proving that this grassroots level work in Indiana, we're solving some problems, but we're so young. You know, we really are. 5 years is nothing. But other people are starting to take notice. So we just have to be cohesive, raise awareness, partner, partner, partner. let's real quick before, because we got to end here in just a few minutes. Let's throw out some ideas, if you will. Come off of mute, everyone, and let's throw out some ideas of how we can use this story and where we can use it. So not only are we going to use it to talk to our legislators, so that's the first thing we're going to put on there. Yeah, thank you, Stephanie. I think that's what RCP stands for.
It's close enough. Trust me. It's fine.
Okay. There's so many acronyms. So we can use this template, obviously, for our legislators. Whether we send this as a letter, we can do that. We can write it out and actually print it and send it in. We can use it just in the back of our mind to jog our memory, to talk to our legislators. We can use it when we talk to our local media. We can use it to help us write a story for our local media newspaper. And then we can send it to them as a backup and say, here, use this. Diane, you mentioned a good one, and that's sending it to our local commissioner. Flood them with these things. Let them know what a great bunch of work is happening at the local level. For effective farming, for a longevity of healthy forest and healthy waters and healthy soils. These all tie together. What else? Mandy, what else can you think of? Help me out, guys. Diane, what do you think? How else can we use this?
I'm thinking Vanderburgh County uses, we talk with about 50 people every other Saturday through 3 months of the summer. And having these bullet points for every volunteer, so we can tell someone we're local, and say, hey, oh, they're working with the Parks Foundation. Who doesn't love the Parks Foundation? So this would be a good opportunity for us as SYSMA volunteers to share with other people, create an elevator speech. We might not have the pictures, but at least an elevator speech ready to go.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Agreed. I think up here we are having a lot of landowner surveys, and it's awesome to meet the different types of professions and people that are calling, wanting to know what's on their land. So if we can have something ready to go, and they can take that back to their profession and just kind of start thinking outside the box with how big this can get. It's really cool to see other people looking at this and going, what, my burning bush is harmful? And just to, you know, they take it back to their business, and then their business removes, and their business helps participate in a weed wrangle and stuff like that. It can get really big really quick.
Mandy, that is fantastic.
Dawn, I've been visiting with you about the need for money here in Vanderburgh County, yes. And this would be a great template to talk to Rotary Club, our Center Point, our energy provider. My mom belongs to a PEO group. She's always looking for speakers. Perfect grassroots reaching, so we can go local, and then they can listen to what their legislators are saying and make decisions about how to vote.
That is, those are all great. Stephanie, are you able to capture these?
Yes. Can you not see my whiteboard?
So I can see the first things we talked about, all the key elements.
I had to scroll down. I had to scroll
down. So I'm not excellent at the whiteboard, but yes, I am writing these down.
Gotcha. Okay, I see them now. Thank you. I thought of something else. So we are now attending some global conferences, and if we had these stories, you know, if the SYSMAs wanted to share these stories with us, these are perfect for us to share at these conferences. We can either print and put them up, we can talk about them, we can summarize them. These are perfect for these big global conferences to share the work that we're doing. And so other states like Ohio, for instance, they're calling and saying, hey, we've been watching this and it's really cool. We want to be able to do this in Ohio. we could actually compile some stories and share them with those, and they could use that as the nebulous to say, hey, look what's happening in Indiana. What success stories these are. These are great.
Perfect example. I'm watching what Du Bois is doing for an education tool. I've started recreating that same education tool because Du Bois County shared that on Facebook. So that's a perfect example.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think hitting it on the nail, Diane, right there is again, we're not operating in a box. We're sharing, we're partnering. And when we do that, we just build capacity, which is exactly what this is from day one, what we've said. I love it. That's good.
Can I ask a question off topic? I'm sorry I missed the last lunch and learn. Did NRCS sign a memorandum of understanding with SICM? Good.
Yes, ma'am.
I was guessing yes with the RCPP.
Yes. So on right after the 1st of August, when our last one ended, and I'm actually working on that final document from our last agreement, we signed a new one.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
Yes, we're pretty happy. It is a little bit of pressure on us, and that's fine. We'll do it. We have to raise a significant amount of money this year, but that's okay. We'll get it done. So yeah, we got 5 more years, Diane, and at that we're gonna be wrapping it up really and really tightening everything down, because that will be our last federal dollars pretty much, unless we come up with something new like an RCPP to carry us beyond. So, but we're gonna do it.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I know this was a small group. If we don't have it, thank you, Stephanie. That's perfect.
Will you be sharing this document with us?
Yes.
Okay.
On the Canva part, I did want to add that one of our SISMAs used Canva to create their logo because they didn't have anybody that was like a local artist or anybody. So it could also be used for that, for a very simple logo for SISMAs. It turned out
That's
cute.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So, and I'll echo that too. So I did that personally with a photography logo. And so here's the thing though. So I personally I just have a free account. And what I did was, here's a secret. You can sign up for 30 days to try the paid account. And then that way you can make your logo to where it can, it's not that white. What's the word I'm trying to say? You can put it on anything and it's not like a white square, right? I forget what that's called, but it's something. So I did that. And then I just made sure I canceled it. So I was like, all right, I have 30 days to make this. And then I did it and then I canceled it. So when I needed that upgrade, I just, there's my secret.
Very cool. Canva looks pretty, it's easier than I thought. I don't have a lot of time. So I'm just like, oh God, I can't read directions right now. I don't have time to read directions. So this was really helpful, Stephanie. I appreciate that. I feel like I can handle it. I can do it.
Good. Well, that's, I kind of felt like if I can handle it, lots of other people can handle it too.
I agree. Your tutorial was very, very helpful.
Oh, good.
There's one thing I want to share with you guys, and I'll do this in the evening as well. So as we close, I do want to let you know on your 3x5 card, number 5 on that card says that this legislative proposal that we're kind of gathering everybody around right now, is an additional $8.6 million investment in Clean Water Indiana. That's CWI. That money, that $8.6 million, again, is not for SICM. It's not for the III. Okay? That money is to go towards working lands in Indiana. Okay, that's really important that we understand these notes on that 3x5 card.
Okay.
And we are partnering for healthy lands and waters in Indiana. Again, we're not working in a box. We're not saying it's all invasive species. We're partnering for conservation. And I want to break down that 8.6 million for you. Okay, so real quick, I'm sorry, Stephanie, I will tie this up.
No, you're okay. I think if I have to pop off, I can, and
Okay,
it'll be fine.
so in that 8.6 million, we've divided that pie chart, okay? And our idea behind that is that about 47% of that will go to competitive Clean Water Indiana grants, just like there already are. SICM will apply for that, just like, and SISMAs will be able to apply for that. So that pool of money, almost 50%, would then be CWI grants, just like what they're already doing. We're just adding to it. About 2% of that 8.6 million will go directly to urban soil health. Another 2% would go to the Conservation Cropping System Initiative. That's just like the III project. It's just a separate initiative. About 9% we would try to get for the III specifically, okay? About 17% we're asking for technical assistance specialists that would manage 2 to 3 counties. So they would come in and help, and they would be specific TAs. We're asking for that specific. That's about 17%. And then last, 23% would go directly to the SWCD offices and their salaries. Their salaries are extremely low. They've been low for years, kind of ridiculous. We're asking for an increase in their salaries. Yeah. So again, we're not operating in a bubble. We want all of healthy lands and waters. And we know that invasive species ties into every one of those. So we want to operate on that level.
Question. The 17% for specialists for technical assistance, would that be, for example, Kayla Canese down in Southwest Indiana? Or is that someone different?
That would be another person.
Okay. Oh, yay.
Yeah, that would be a person that the SWCD hires.
Oh.
And they would be, yeah, they would be a county employee.
Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're operating well outside of the III. We really want to get that help right down to conservation on the ground and working land. So I wanted you guys to kind of know the bigger picture there. That 8.6 million is conservation at a different level. So at a big, nice big level.
It's nice to know this. It's very helpful.
Yeah, I think so. And that's and doing it through the storytelling, so you can tell that story and say, hey, we're partnering and we're part of the III and we don't operate alone. We've got good information coming down. We're starting to share information back and forth, and we're operating on a big conservation level, landscape level. Okay. Well, Stephanie and I need to jump into another meeting, and we'll do this again tonight. Hopefully, we got a couple more people coming. Lastly, November 17th is going to be our lunch and learn. And we ask that you have a story, come to the lunch and learn with a story, fill out that template. So who is your audience for that story? And we're going to share them during that lunch and learn on November 17th at 12:15 Eastern time. And we're going to have a little fun. I'm going to see who can bring a cookie with their logo on it, their SISMA logo on it.
I love that idea.
And we'll have a little fun sharing our stories and getting each other inspired to get out there and talk. Thank you guys for joining us today.